What happened to the person who used to hike mountains and walk for hours, but now feels exhausted after just a few steps up the stairs? Why is it that, for many people over 60, the fear isn't about illness, but about something much simpler, losing confidence in their own legs? Maybe you've wondered to yourself, why do my legs feel weaker each day? Maybe you've been woken up by cramps in the middle of the night. Maybe your steps have become unsteady because your joints are stiff. Or maybe you just feel completely drained after standing in the kitchen for a few minutes. Here's the truth. When your leg muscles weaken, it's not just tiring. It slowly steals your ability to live freely, independently, and care for yourself. And if you've ever told yourself, that's just part of getting older, this video might change the way you see things. Today, I'm going to share 12 science-backed foods that can help restore leg strength, improve mobility, and protect your muscles and joints from age-related decline. Especially the last two, they're powerful but surprisingly overlooked. We'll also look at real advice from geriatric doctors, clinical studies, and how to use these foods the right way. Because the truth is, even healthy foods can become harmful if not used wisely. Let's start with the first food, eggs. A simple source of protein that protects muscle health. Every morning, George, 72 years old, living in a quiet town in Oregon, has to grip the edge of his bed just to stand up. His feet feel numb, his thighs tremble slightly, and sometimes it feels like his legs don't even belong to him anymore. I used to hike uphill without holding on to anything, he said with a chuckle. Now just getting up from a chair takes all my focus. But it wasn't really a laugh. It was the smile of someone learning to live with helplessness. Have you ever felt like that? Not quite in pain, but slowly weakening. And perhaps the most painful part is realizing you're losing the freedom to move freely in your own home. A lot of people assume that after 60, weak legs and aching joints are just part of life. But the truth is, our bodies can recover if we nourish them the right way. And one of the simplest foods helping us do that quietly every day is the humble egg. You might have eaten eggs your whole life, but maybe you've never seen them as your quiet partner in staying strong, steady, and mobile. Eggs are not just easy to digest protein. They also contain choline, a powerful nutrient that supports your nervous system and memory. Plus, vitamin B12 and vitamin D, a trio that helps maintain lean muscle and slows down the loss of strength that comes with aging. According to a report by the Mayo Clinic, getting enough natural vitamin D through food significantly lowers the risk of falls and muscle loss in older adults. Two of the biggest reasons why we struggle to stay on our feet as we age. Dr. Michael Greger, a well-known geriatrician and nutrition expert in the U.S., recommends adults over 60 eat 6 to 7 eggs per week, preferably soft-boiled or lightly steamed, to preserve nutrients and avoid stress on the heart. However, and this is where many people go wrong, pairing your eggs with bacon, sausage, or processed cheese can wipe away those benefits entirely. The high levels of saturated fat and salt in those side dishes can raise bad cholesterol and hurt your cardiovascular and circulatory systems, especially if you already have high blood pressure or diabetes. That's why so many people say, I eat eggs every day, but I still feel weak. It's not because eggs aren't good for you, it's how you eat them that truly makes the difference. Something as simple as boiling your eggs instead of frying them in butter, or pairing them with leafy greens instead of processed meats can dramatically improve how strong and steady you feel each day. And whether you live alone or with family, breakfast is still a golden opportunity to love yourself, starting with one warm, simple, nutrient-packed egg. Many members of our community have told me, when I started eating boiled eggs every morning and added a 15-minute walk, the numbness in my legs went away. Sometimes it's not grand changes, but the quiet, consistent ones that heal our bodies most powerfully. How about you? How do you usually eat your eggs? Boiled, fried, steamed, or in porridge? Share with us in the comments. Your routine might just inspire someone else. And if you found this information helpful, please hit like, share the video with a friend, and subscribe to Golden Wise Elders so we can keep exploring simple, loving ways to care for our health, especially in our golden years. Food. 2. Spinach and kale. One time I asked Helen, a 76-year-old widow living in suburban Pennsylvania, what do you miss most about your younger days? She didn't mention faraway trips. She didn't bring up an old love. She just smiled softly and said, I miss being able to stand up without holding on to anything. A lot of people think that creaky knees and those little snap, crackle, pop sounds when walking downstairs are just part of getting older, but few ever tell us those might be our muscles and bones whispering for help, begging for the silent nutrients they've been missing. Think of your body like an old house. Every brick and beam, your bones, your joints, your ligaments, your muscles once carried your child on your back, helped you run through the rain, garden in the sun, and cook for your family. But no house stands strong forever unless it's maintained. And some of the best building materials nature ever gave us are found in two of the humblest ingredients, spinach and kale. These leafy greens are rich in magnesium, calcium, and vitamin K, nutrients that quietly preserve bone density, improve muscle flexibility, and lower your risk of falling when you stand up or step over a rug. At Tufts University in Boston, a 5-year study showed that older adults who ate leafy greens at least 5 times a week had 42% higher bone density and more stable gait compared to those who rarely ate them. Magnesium, often overlooked, is the electrical key that keeps your muscles moving smoothly. Calcium, everyone knows, is the foundation of strong bones. But without vitamin K, that calcium can't actually bind to your bones. All three are blended in those little green leaves we used to toss into the pot without thinking. Helen used to eat just eggs and toast for breakfast. I never had time to cook greens, she said, but after a local geriatric doctor encouraged her to try, she started boiling a handful of kale every morning and blending spinach into her afternoon smoothies. After a few weeks, she told me, "I don't feel that wobbly looseness in my knees when I climb the stairs anymore, and at night I sleep better, no more waking up from aching legs." That stuck with me for a long time, because sometimes what saves a life isn't expensive medicine. It's a simple handful of greens, chosen at just the right time. Like a hand reaching out right when you're about to fall. It can lift you back up and save an entire part of your life. Food. 3. Fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. Mr. Raymond is 81 years old. He used to be a school teacher in Chicago, and for years his favorite way to start the day was a peaceful morning walk. But last winter, after his left knee swelled up badly, he stopped walking for nearly 4 months. At first, it was just a dull ache, he said, but then, every time the weather changed, I was afraid to even step down from my porch. I'd just sit there, staring at the same old street, feeling like a stranger in my own life. Losing the ability to move freely, even just around the yard, doesn't just hurt your knees, it can hurt your spirit too. I often tell our community, your joints hold the memories of movement. When they ache, it feels like your memories are being interrupted. But there are ways to reconnect. And sometimes that reconnection starts with a single slice of fish. Not many people realize that fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, are natural anti-inflammatory agents for joints and muscles, especially for older adults. They're packed with omega-3 fatty acids, a powerful nutrient that helps calm inflammation, the root cause of joint stiffness, swelling, and loss of mobility. At Harvard University, a study tracking over 2,000 adults over age 60 found that those who ate fatty fish at least twice a week had nearly 40% fewer complaints of joint pain and showed significant improvement in balance and daily movement. Fish also provides vitamin D, which helps your body absorb calcium and keep bones strong. And here's something rarely mentioned. EPA, a type of omega-3 in fish, has been shown to reduce swelling in small joints, making everyday tasks like opening jars, buttoning shirts, or zipping up a coat in the cold feel doable again. Dr. Carol Jenkins, a geriatric specialist in Seattle, once shared something I'll never forget. "I had a patient with mild arthritis. She didn't take any medication. She just changed her weekly meals to include more fatty fish, leafy greens, and less refined carbs. 6 months later, she came back saying, 'I carried my laundry basket to the basement without stopping to rest.'" It was a subtle recovery, but one that truly lasted. Mr. Raymond's story is no different. When his daughter started cooking salmon for him twice a week, sometimes grilled with vegetables, sometimes in a light soup, he slowly returned to his old walking shoes. "Every time I walk a little further," he said, "I feel like I'm stitching my life back together, like my feet remember the path and my heart remembers how to live." Sometimes healing doesn't come from a strong prescription. It comes from a body that's finally being heard. Not rushed, not forced, not ignored, just loved, with consistency, with intention. A small piece of fish, prepared with hope and patience, might just be the first key to unlock your body again, and maybe even your spirit. Food. 4. Avocados. If you've ever had to stop halfway through the grocery store because your legs were too tired, or stood up after sitting a while and felt like your knees refused to cooperate, you're not alone. Many older adults across America call these moments the silent slowdowns, not dramatic like a sharp pain, not urgent enough to call a doctor. But still, they quietly interrupt the rhythm of your day. Your steps become slower, not because you're strolling for leisure, but because your body isn't steady enough to move faster. Miriam, a retired nurse from Florida, once confided in me during a wellness talk. I miss walking through the Saturday farmer's market, carrying my basket, looking at the fresh produce. Now I can barely make it halfway before I need to find a bench. It's like my knees are tired of aging too. I asked if she ever paid attention to what she eats every day. She looked a little surprised and said, "I eat regular meals, but maybe not the right things." We often eat to feel full, but forget to eat to nourish, especially to nourish our joints, our soft tissues, and the flexibility that keeps us moving. One of the simplest foods that can gently soothe stiff joints is the avocado. It may look like just a trendy topping for toast, but avocados are loaded with monounsaturated fats, a type of healthy fat that helps reduce inflammation, especially in weight-bearing joints like the knees and hips. Avocados are also rich in potassium, a mineral that regulates muscle contractions, prevents cramps, and improves blood flow to the lower limbs. And don't forget vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant in avocados that protects cartilage from further damage caused by free radicals, especially in aging joints that are already beginning to wear down. At Harvard School of Public Health, researchers conducted a 12-week study in which older adults consumed avocados 3 to 4 times per week. The results? A significant reduction in morning joint stiffness and pain, especially among those with early signs of arthritis. What I'll never forget is what happened after Miriam, our friend from Florida, heard about this. She started adding half an avocado to her breakfast each day, with a boiled egg and a slice of whole grain toast. No drastic changes, no new medication, no expensive equipment, just a soft, humble fruit and a little patience. 6 weeks later, she called me and said, "Today, I walked through the entire farmer's market without needing to sit down. The veggie bag was heavy, but my heart felt light." And sometimes, healing doesn't require sweeping changes. It starts with listening to your body and gently adding one kind thing to your day. Maybe it begins with just half an avocado, a quiet way to say sorry to the joints you've ignored, and an even gentler way to remind yourself, I can take care of myself, one step at a time. Food. 5. Greek yogurt. Strong bones. Begin with a warm gut. Frank was a retired watch repairman from a small town in Ohio. At 74, his hands were still steady, but his legs didn't always cooperate. "It's the strangest thing," he told me. "I can still screw in the tiniest bolts, but I need both railings just to climb the stairs." It wasn't that he suddenly became weak. It was the unsettling feeling that his legs had lost their grounding, like they no longer caught his weight. After a checkup, doctors found his bone density had dropped. He was showing signs of osteoporosis, a condition that affects many older adults, especially men over 70. But what moved me the most was what Frank said next. "I'm not upset about my bones being weak. What hurts is feeling like a burden. Not being able to walk into the kitchen and pour myself a glass of water. That stings more than any pain in my knee." So how do we help older adults reclaim that quiet confidence, that sense of independence inside their own homes? Sometimes the answer begins with something as simple as a small cup of yogurt. Greek yogurt isn't just a soft, tangy snack. It's a natural medicine that nourishes your bones, supports digestion, and soothes your emotional well-being. Every serving of Greek yogurt contains calcium, vitamin D, and probiotics, a powerful trio that can boost calcium and magnesium absorption into the bones, improve gut microbiome, and support immune function, and even stabilize mood, reducing anxiety, something many older adults silently battle each day. According to a study from the New England Center for Geriatric Medicine, seniors who consumed low-sugar yogurt daily had higher bone density and a 24% lower risk of fractures. But it's not just about stronger bones. It's also about mental strength. When your gut is in balance, your mood lifts too. That's why the gut is often called the second brain. Frank began eating yogurt every morning, not because he loved the taste, but because he wanted to believe his body still had the potential to heal. 3 months later, he shared something beautiful. "Now I can walk from my bedroom to the backyard without grabbing anything for support." It might not sound like much, but the way he said it, soft voice, bright eyes, told me everything. For someone who once needed his wife to carry the grocery bags, every self-powered step is a quiet return to dignity. And maybe you too. If your legs have wobbled, if you felt less steady than before, don't blame yourself too quickly. Maybe your bones just need a little care, and maybe that care begins with something as soft and healing as a cup of yogurt. Whether you live alone or with family, Whether you're still strong or just beginning to slow down, you deserve to feel healthy, independent, and loved. Starting with how you care for yourself. If you've tried eating yogurt regularly, we'd love to hear your experience in the comments below. And if this story moved you, please hit the like button, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Golden Wise Elders, because every video here is a reminder you are never alone on this journey. Food 6. Bananas. Fighting cramps and helping your legs. Listen. Again. There are certain things in life we never think we'll miss until they're gone. Mr. Walter, 78, once served in the Navy. Every morning he used to walk along the harbor watching the sun rise over the Pacific Ocean. But one afternoon in California, he shared something with me quietly. I don't go out alone anymore because I never know when my legs might cramp up in the middle of the street. Muscle cramps, that sudden sharp pain that twists your calf and leaves you hunched over in helplessness. No warning, no control. And it often happens when you're alone, standing on shaky legs in the quiet dark. To many, cramps seem like no big deal, but for older adults, they can be a real fear. Because just one spasm in the night, one fall beside the bed, could mark the beginning of losing your freedom. And so, little by little, we shrink our world. No going out, no stairs, no trips to the market, no longer living as we used to. But here's the thing, sometimes we don't need much to reclaim that freedom. Sometimes it starts with simply getting enough potassium each day. And the humble banana, that soft, sweet fruit from childhood, may be one of your body's quietest allies in the fight against cramps and fatigue. Bananas are rich in potassium, magnesium, and vitamin B6, 3 key nutrients that support smooth muscle function, preventing those sudden squeezes. Balance electrolytes for better blood flow to the legs and strengthen peripheral nerve function, helping signals move easily from your brain to your muscles. At the U.S. Institute of Clinical Nutrition, researchers studied over 1,000 older adults who suffered from frequent nighttime leg cramps. They found that adding 300-400 milligrams of potassium per day, about 1 banana, helped reduce the frequency and pain of cramps by 33% in just 4 weeks. Mr. Walter began eating 1 banana every morning, paired with a light oatmeal breakfast. No medication, no major treatments. 3 weeks later, he called just to say one sentence. I walked around the lake this morning, just 15 minutes, but 15 minutes with no pain, no stopping. I was facing the sunrise again. Sometimes we don't need to run like we once did. We just need to know that our legs still carry us, smoothly, gently, without betraying us. And that knowledge brings peace to the heart. If you've ever been afraid to sit up in the middle of the night, worried your muscles might cramp again, then you understand. Waking up pain-free is a gift. And sometimes, a small banana on the kitchen counter isn't just food. It's a gift to your muscles and to your inner calm. Do you struggle with cramps? Have you tried eating bananas regularly? If so, share your experience in the comments. Your story might offer hope to someone who truly needs it. And if today's message helped you in any way, please click the like button to support Golden Wise Elders. Share this video with someone you care about and subscribe so you won't miss our next healing story. Because you and others like you deserve to walk freely, live gently, and keep writing your life story, one strong step at a time. Food. 7. Almonds and walnuts, gentle oils that help your legs return to life. Sometimes our legs slow down. They feel heavier, more tired, like they're trying to whisper something to us that we haven't stopped to hear. Elaine, 69, a retired librarian from Minnesota, once described that feeling in a way I'll never forget. My legs feel like a dim light bulb, not completely out, just fading, little by little. And I asked her, have they ever felt so tired that you just wanted to sit down and give up? She didn't answer right away, but after a pause, she said quietly, I slipped in the bathroom once, just once, and since then, I haven't dared to move too fast. Injuries at this age don't just leave bruises on the skin, they leave wounds on the heart. Confidence shatters, trust in the body becomes fragile, and every movement afterward feels cautious, tentative. But here's the miracle. That trust can return if we begin gently and stay patient. Science tells us that muscle strength and neuromuscular stability can improve in older adults as long as the body is nourished with the right nutrients. And 2 of the smallest, most overlooked foods might just be almonds and walnuts. You might think, nuts? How can those change anything? But inside each one lies a quiet world of healing. Almonds are rich in magnesium, which helps reduce muscle tension, prevent mild spasms, and send nerve signals more accurately to every fiber of muscle. Walnuts, packed with plant-based omega-3s, act like natural lubricants for the joints, soothing hidden inflammation and keeping movement smooth. At Tufts University in Boston, researchers studied adults aged 65 and older. They found that just 5 to 7 almonds or walnuts per day over 8 weeks led to better balance, less muscle fatigue while walking, and surprisingly, improved sleep at night. After learning about this, Elaine started carrying a small container of mixed nuts in her purse, a few in the morning, a few after her gentle yoga class. She didn't expect miracles. She simply told herself, I'm doing this because I want to believe in myself again. 3 months later, she sent me a photo, a pair of sneakers, her legs, standing firm at the top of a small staircase leading down to the park near her home. The photo was a little tilted, a little shaky, but the caption brought tears to my eyes. I walked down all 14 steps, no railing, no wall, and when I reached the bottom, I cried. You see, nothing is ever small when it's part of a healing journey. A handful of nuts each day doesn't just feed your muscles. It rebuilds your confidence, the kind of belief in yourself that aging sometimes tries to steal away. So if you've ever felt your body slowing down, if you've wrestled with fatigue that has no clear cause, try this. Not to return to who you once were, but to honor the fact that you're still alive, still changing, still becoming stronger, one small moment at a time. And if you have a story to share, a walk that took you further than before, a morning that felt easier than yesterday, please tell us in the comments, because your story could be the first light of someone else's day. Food. 8. Lentils. Gentle energy for legs that feel tired. Have you ever woken up after a full night's sleep and still felt drained? Or maybe in the middle of the afternoon, after coming home from the store or washing a few dishes, you had to sit down, not because of pain, but because your legs felt like they'd run out of power. Donna, 75, who lives alone in rural Nebraska, described it best. It's not pain. I just feel like my legs aren't full anymore, like a gas tank that's almost empty. That kind of fatigue, tired legs with no clear cause, isn't just a muscle issue. It can be a subtle sign of mild iron deficiency, cellular energy loss, or post-meal blood sugar crashes. Small issues, but just big enough to make you feel like you can't keep going. I've met many older adults who describe that same feeling. They don't want more pills. They don't want to depend on supplements. They just want to know, is there a food that's gentle, healing, and makes me feel alive again? And I always recommend lentils. Lentils may sit quietly on the bottom shelf of the grocery store, but they carry a strength that's both humble and powerful. They're rich in iron, magnesium, soluble fiber, and plant protein, which help boost red blood cell production to carry oxygen to muscles, stabilize blood sugar to prevent energy crashes after meals, nourish gut health to improve both digestion and mood. At the California Institute of Geriatric Medicine, a study tracked over 900 adults aged 65 and older. Those who ate lentils at least 3 times a week scored significantly higher on endurance tests and 6-minute walk assessments compared to those who didn't. Even more importantly, they reported fewer episodes of unexplained fatigue and better sleep at night. Donna was hesitant at first. I've never cooked lentils before, she said, but then her daughter sent her a recipe for lentil soup with carrots, onions, and turmeric, and everything changed. After 2 weeks, she told me, I didn't have to sit down midway while folding laundry, and the other day, I walked around the yard twice without having to tell myself, just push through. There was a quiet recovery happening inside her. No fanfare, no fireworks, just tiny, determined cells coming back to life, thanks to small, steady spoons of soup. We don't need fancy food. We need food that's kind. Food that not only fuels the body, but also nurtures the belief that we're still living. Actively. Not passively. Not helplessly. If your legs have ever felt like they've lost their spark, if you've ever asked, why do I feel so weak today? Maybe it's time to try a bowl of lentil soup at lunch or a lentil salad at dinner. Not to become someone younger, but to return to yourself with strength, with calm, and with quiet confidence. Have you ever cooked lentils? Do you have a favorite traditional recipe? Please share your thoughts in the comments, because here at Golden Wise Elders, every small story has the power to warm someone else's day. And if today's message nourished both your body and your spirit, please like this video, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to the Golden Wise Elders channel. Because we don't walk this journey alone. And we don't heal alone either. Let's become a generation that grows strong and stays gentle. Food. 9. Chicken. Quiet strength that supports every step. Chicken is more than just a familiar food. It can be the foundation that helps rebuild our ability to move. Lydia, age 70, lives in San Jose, California. She's not dealing with any major illnesses, no diabetes, no heart disease, but she told me, lately, I get out of breath when walking fast. And the strange thing is, my legs don't hurt. They just feel like they don't want to cooperate. I stayed quiet for a moment because I know that feeling all too well. When your body doesn't exactly hurt, but it simply doesn't have the power anymore. It's not a disease. It's a kind of emptiness from within, not because of a lack of medicine, but because of a lack of foundation. When I asked her about her diet, Lydia gave a small, hesitant smile. I've been eating mostly vegetarian. I'm afraid of fat, afraid of heart problems, but I guess I've also been missing things my body truly needs. She's right. At 60, 70, or beyond, we need more than just disease prevention. We need nourishment, not just to survive, but to keep living on our terms. And lean chicken, especially skinless breasts, might seem basic, but it's one of the most powerful foods to support aging muscles and bones. Chicken is rich in high-quality protein, which helps prevent muscle loss, which can quietly reduce up to 3 to 5% of muscle mass per year in older adults, repair tissues after movement or minor injury, and provide stable energy without causing blood sugar spikes like starchy foods. Chicken also contains vitamin B6, which plays a key role in energy metabolism, helping your body turn food into fuel that powers every step you take. At the U.S. Institute of Clinical Nutrition, researchers tracked 100 older adults who ate chicken 3 to 4 times per week. The results? They could walk longer distances, climb stairs more easily, recover faster after standing for long periods, and most importantly, they felt more alive. They felt less fatigued. That's not a side effect. That's a sign of a body that's finally being nourished right. After hearing this, Lydia started eating chicken again, 2 to 3 times a week. No frying, no greasy sauces, just steamed with vegetables or a light chicken soup at night. And in week 5, she said something that stopped me in my tracks. I don't have to hold onto the railing anymore when I step onto the porch. When I rise, I feel strength, and that makes me want to live again. People often think healing comes from miracles, but more often it comes from simple things: a meal at the right time, a dish full of nourishment, a quiet, kind choice for yourself. Maybe you've eaten chicken your whole life, but have you ever seen it as the food that could rebuild the muscle quietly fading with the years? Have you ever asked yourself, what is my body missing that's keeping me from standing strong again? If you struggle to get up in the morning, if you feel tired even without doing much, your body may be asking for something deeper, to be nourished from the foundation up, and you can start right now with something as simple as a bowl of chicken soup. Because healing isn't just about the body. It's a journey back to dignity, confidence, and self-worth. Food. 10. Eggs. A gentle beginning for a body ready to live again. I once asked an 83-year-old man in Portland, in all your years, what tells you that you're still really living? He didn't answer right away. He looked out toward his garden and said, it's when I can still boil an egg for myself in the morning, eat it slowly, without rush, just me, and that feels warm. I've never forgotten those words because that's not just a meal. That's a quiet act of self-care. A message to yourself that says, I'm still here. I'm still capable. I still matter. One egg, a small thing. Yet it can be the beginning of so much. Nutritionally, eggs are among the most complete foods we have. They contain high-quality protein with all essential amino acids your body needs to build and repair muscle. They contain vitamin D, which helps your body absorb calcium and keep your bones and joints strong. And they contain choline, a critical nutrient for brain and nerve function, something many older adults are quietly losing over the years. According to the American Geriatric Nutrition Association, older adults who eat 6 to 7 eggs per week have a significantly lower risk of muscle loss, which is one of the leading causes of falls, fractures, and loss of independence later in life. But beyond science, an egg is a symbol of simplicity, routine, and kindness. One boiled egg each morning, no fuss, can become a small daily ritual to begin your day with intention. No one forces you. No one does it for you. You choose to care for yourself before your body asks for help. I once asked the man, why eggs? He answered slowly but firmly, because eggs remind me that I'm still alive, not just existing, but living, choosing, caring, honoring myself. Have you ever felt like you were just existing? That your days blur together with nothing to look forward to? If so, maybe it's time to begin again with something small, like a boiled egg, like a breakfast made by your own hands. Because sometimes we don't need something grand to feel like life has meaning. We just need one small thing. Repeat it daily. A gentle reminder, I'm still here. I still have the strength to love myself. And if you've ever begun, or are just beginning, a healing journey from something small, I hope you stay patient. I hope you stay gentle with yourself. And I hope you love yourself enough to walk all the way to the other side of healing. You might be walking a little slower these days. You might not move as quickly as you used to. But please remember this, every step you take today, even if it's small, even if it's shaky, is still a step toward healing. Aging doesn't take your strength away. It simply reminds you to live more slowly, but more deeply, to eat more mindfully, but more wisely, and to love yourself gently, intentionally, maybe for the first time in your life. If something in today's message made you feel seen, heard, or simply not alone, leave a comment. Not just so I know you're here, but so others like you know. They're not alone either. You still have the strength to change. And more importantly, you still deserve a life that feels full, meaningful, and truly yours. If these words touched your heart, click like and share this video. And if you want to keep walking this journey of strength and grace with the Golden Wise Elders community, hit subscribe so we can meet here again week after week in a world that's growing older but never stops blooming.